Happy Saturday. So, new angle. How y'all like it? I am in love with this new angle. But y'all, I just spent the last like 5 minutes filming and never clicked record. Yeah, I never clicked record. So I was just sitting here talking to myself. I'm sure that was hilarious on the cameras. Anyway, happy Saturday. Like I said, I'm sitting here at the market and new angle. I am loving it because my desk used to be up against this wall. I had my back to my retail counter. I had the windows behind me. I had the overhead light behind me, and it made filming from my desk an absolute nightmare. It also just did not really work with logistics of like having customers come in, my retail counter behind me. If I had to speak to somebody, I'd have to, turn around to take care of all of that. And I couldn't see out of my windows without turning around. So in this layout, everything is much more open. I've got a window to the front of the building directly in front of me. I've got the window to the parking lot I can see out of, and the sunshine's just, shining in my face. I don't have that overhead light behind me, so filming is much easier, and I've just really enjoyed this new layout. It's working so much better. But anyway, so it is Saturday. I'm kind of having a lazy day at the market. I'm not feeling 100%. I don't feel like sick or anything like that. I'm not quite 100%. And so today I was just like, you know what, no emails today, no phone calls. I'm not doing any kind of financial work. Like, it is Saturday. I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna do what I have to do in the market, and then I'm going to concentrate on getting some of my crochet projects done. So right now I'm working on one of the little mandala concert bag patterns. I have fell in love with this pattern, and these bags are so fun, and I'm just now realizing you probably have no idea what that is, so hold on. This is one of these bags. They are so stinking cute. Alright, so it's got this really pretty, like 3D texture pattern. It's like mandala in the middle. It's got the tassels. It's got this really pretty, like, braided strap on it. I love these, and they're concert bags. I mean, can you see how cute this would be taking it to the concert? You can't see it at all, but I'm not standing up because I don't wanna. But anyway, so I have these for sale in the store, but I do wanna, you know what, now that we're talking about them, we're gonna talk about them. I do have these for sale in the store, and these will be for sale online very soon. So if you're wanting one of these, listen up, okay? But I had a temperature blanket. I started in 2021. I've been crocheting since I was a young kid. But it's always been these projects would, come across my YouTube feed or something like that. And I was always in the mindset of, I want a mindless project. And I want something that is not going to require like a ton of planning. I kind of want something that would be fun. It will have, a cool finished product, but I don't really want, something that's going to require me to do a whole lot of counting, calculating, all this. My mindset's definitely changed now. Not the same that I was thinking in 21, but I was definitely a mindless project girly back then. So I decided temperature blanket is perfect. All I have to do is figure out my scale of temperatures, assign a color, rock and roll. Each day, see what the average temperature was, and crochet a single crochet row all the way across each day, just whatever color I'm supposed to. And it was great at first, but doing 1 row a day, even doing single crochets, I was using a number 4 worsted yarn, and even a single crochet is 365 rows is a gigantic blanket. So I also made it very wide because I also wanted to make sure that it was more of a square and not a big, long, weird, awkward rectangle that was very skinny but very long. I did not want that. So it would have been easily large enough to cover our king size bed, probably bigger than my king size comforter. And so I got over halfway done with it, and by that point it was so heavy and so thick that it was just not fun to work on anymore. It was the heat of summer, because I think I made it into August, and I mean, just dead summer, big, thick. I couldn't take it on the road with me if we were going somewhere. It was too big, and I did not enjoy working on it anymore. Every time, as I'm working across the row, it's just this big clunky blanket, and I was just like, I'm over it. I will worry about it when it cools down. And lo and behold, years later, still had not touched it. So it was a halfway finished blanket, and I'd always told myself, I'm gonna go back and finish it. And I would use it in my crochet class, because in the beginner's class, I do teach single crochet, and I would show them, you can do a lot of really cool projects just learning how to do a single crochet and how to, turn your work. And I would show them the temperature blanket, and everybody's like, oh, that's so cool. That's such a cool project, And I was like, yeah, I agree. Like, I totally plan on finishing this one day. But realistically, I was looking at it a few months ago. I don't know if it was 2026 yet, so it might have been the end of last year. But either way, years have passed by since I had last worked on this blanket, and I was like, realistically, I'm never gonna finish this. If I were to attempt another temperature project, one, I think I would change the color scheme. I did have just a classic kind of rainbowy color scheme. It wasn't like, true red, true orange, true yellow. Like, I had different tones of all the colors, but I don't know. After looking at it for so many years, I just kind of over it. I've seen a lot of different iterations of temperature blankets where they were much more creative with the color scheme, and so I don't think that would be my jam now. And I also don't think that I would want, just those bright colors realistically as my bedspread, and that's probably what I would end up doing with that blanket if I'd actually finished it, was putting it across my bed, and it doesn't match anything. And so anyway, I know in my heart that I was not going to finish this, and so I decided to frog it. And I was like, I want to reclaim this yarn. I do not want to waste all this yarn. So I want to give it a new life. So I thought about it, and I was like, I can just frog it and wind up all this yarn and put it up for future projects. But I was working on a couple of those bags that I just showed you for Christmas gifts this year, and I was like, it might be kind of cool to have some of these be colorful, and how cool would it be to kind of reincarnate my temperature blanket into these bags? And so that's what I did. I started on the end that was open, and as I was frogging it, I was crocheting it right back into a new project, and so this is the result. I have some of these bags, and their colorways are determined just how where I hit the next row that had the next color is where I changed color. So you can see, like in this top corner right here, it started coral and we changed to this orange. And let me just say, I love this orange. It's like a very like dusty terracotta orange, very earthy orange. Love it. And then this really pretty coral. So I did this bag with it, and then once I had done this bag, I saw, I've got a ton more yarn left on this blanket. So we went into bag number 2, and bag number 2 landed on these colors. So we started off with yellow and orange, and then into coral, and back to orange, and back to coral. And this is what we wound up with. And on this side, it ended up being all orange and yellow, and the strap ended up being orange and yellow. And so this is really special because these are my temperature blanket in just a new life. They've got completely new life, and these are one of a kind. I'll never make these exact bags ever again because these are simply based on the color changes from the 2021 temperatures here in South Carolina. So one of a freaking kind, and my temperature blanket's getting a new life. So I've made those two out of it so far. I've started number 3. It'll also be orange and yellow, and then it'll start shifting into like the yellow greens, maybe even into the blue, and then eventually into the blue and purples, and at the very end it should be mostly blue, purple, and white. And so there's going to be like a whole range of colors, and I think I'm going to get at least 6 of these bags out of my temperature blanket. And I'm so excited because now they've got this whole new life, and I'm going to be able to pass these on to somebody else who's going to be able to love that yarn that would have been sitting in that blanket and has been sitting locked up in that blanket for so many years, and now I've turned it into something that gave me joy, being able to give it new life, and then something that hopefully somebody else will purchase and then they will love on. And so I think it was a win-win across the board. I'm so excited. But then the temperature blankets will be a one-of-a-kind limited edition. When it's gone, it is gone. Those bags are it. So I'm also thinking ahead. I want neutrals. I think this pattern looks awesome in neutrals. Like the first bag I showed you was actually leftover yarn from a sweater that I made at Christmas time, and it was a beautiful yarn. It was sage to almost kind of like a rust and a gray, and it was just a very pretty neutral variegated yarn, and I had it left, and I had just enough to make a bag, and I was like, let's do it. And so now I'm working on this colorway here. This is what I'm guessing I'm gonna call like salt and pepper, because it is this yarn. It's like off-white, almost beige, and then it's got little flecks of black and gray in it, and so it creates like this kind of, I don't know, salt and pepper kind of look. I don't know what else to call it. It's what comes to mind. So another neutral, this is the panel that's finished, and then this is the panel I'm currently working on now. So yeah, I'm a chug-lugging along on this one, so I'll have this colorway soon. And I want to do like a black. I was sitting there thinking about how pretty a black would be, and maybe like a little warmer of a tan, maybe a sage green or a gray. I think the neutrals would really do well, and they're so pretty, and they would go so well with most outfits. I don't think that the colorful temperature blanket ones are going to be everybody's jam, but they will be available. So those are for sale in store right now. As I'm finishing them, I am putting them out for sale, but I also want to do them online as well. And so I think what I'm going to do is, it is mid-March now, and I think that now through some date in April, I was going to do the first weekend in April, but that's Easter weekend, so I don't think I want to do this on a holiday weekend. But through maybe the following weekend in April, I'm going to work on making up as much stock as I can of not only these bags, but other items. And then I'm going to just do a drop on a weekend. I will let you guys know, hey, they are available, and get them now. And I think I'm just going to leave it open for the weekend. And then when I close it, we will have another drop date in May. And everything that I'm able to make over those next several weeks, those will go for the drop in May. And in the meantime, some of these items will be available in store. So it's kind of like an in-store exclusive. If you're local, you can come in and snatch some stuff up and don't have to wait for the drop. But if you are going to be shopping online, then it's going to be, you know, something that we will just do one weekend per month. And that gives me a chance to kind of work on different projects, build up inventory, and then release it all to you. So I think that's going to be the plan. I will have more information a little bit later about all of that. We have got so many things coming up, so many things coming up. It is keeping me busy, and that is why today, since I was not feeling 100%, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna do my necessary responsibilities, responsibilities, Tommy, responsibilities. But I was gonna come in here, open the store, and in between customers, I am crocheting and watching some crochet creators on YouTube. But yeah, I think that's going to be it for today. So I guess keep a lookout for these bags going for sale soon. I will drop that date, and if you're local, come see me. We're on William Street in Williamston, really close to the post office. Like, I can see the post office from my front porch here. So anyway, I guess I will see you guys next time.